We can't hear anything.
You can't hear me?
Sorry.
Okay, well, before working at USF, Frank worked with the financial and real estate industry. He also was a writing tutor at Hillsborough Community College, instructing students on writing, communication, critical thinking skills. He's also a baseball hitting instructor and published author, publishing over 9 books, both fiction and nonfiction. He's also a YouTube channel called Teacher University, which creates lectures on entrepreneurship and personal development. Frank earned his bachelor's degree in finance and English from USF and is working on his master's degree in entrepreneurship. What do you do? Nunez.
So thank you so much. And again, I'm Frank. I'm the event planner for the Nault Center for Entrepreneurship. And thank you for coming today, for those of you watching on Teams. So yeah, I just wanted to really come by today and I think share with you a couple of things. I think my own entrepreneurship journey, how I got started in entrepreneurship and event planning, academia, what we do at the Nault Center, and really how it is that we build entrepreneurs, especially covering a range of different industries, from sustainability, which I'll touch on, healthcare, as well as in industries, and also more importantly, how it is we work with students and what I think is important that defines an entrepreneur at a micro level. What are some important characteristics of what defines an entrepreneur when it comes to creative thinking, how to think in certain ways that not only help you solve problems, but can help you exploit opportunities when they show up. And I think that's very important. So, as in my bio, program plan with the Nault Center for Entrepreneurship, and also a realtor, author, and undergrads in finance and English, and a master's in entrepreneurship. But throughout my career, I've worn many hats. I've done a lot. I've done everything from selling real estate, selling luggage and pens. I think almost selling knives door to door at one point. But don't do that. It's not fun. No, don't do it. But I've done it all. All right, and I think part of being an entrepreneur is that you're going to try a lot of different buckets or try a lot of different things and experiment until you kind of find your way. The big thing about entrepreneurship, being an entrepreneur, is that you're going to experience not just a massive amount of failure, but also you're going to reach a point where when you become an entrepreneur, it's not because you want to, but because it happens out of necessity. You have to do it. It's a calling. It's something that you're compelled to do. And for me, this all started back in 2008 when I graduated from USF with a degree in finance. And at that time, I was a 20-something. I thought, man, the world is my oyster. I got this college degree, this shiny thing, this diploma. And employers, they're going to be jumping over themselves to offer me $200,000 a year because I have this finance degree, and I'm set for life. Some of you, most of you probably don't remember. You're too young, and maybe some of you remember old enough. 2008 was the U.S. financial crisis, all right? And at that time, I'll probably say the shit hit the fan is an understatement, pardon my French, all right? That's how severe the financial crisis was at the time, all right? It was life-changing for me, and really being a young college student, I wasn't really prepared for something like that. Nobody was. Business school does not prepare you for when millions of Americans lose their jobs, the stock market plummets, millions of Americans lose their home, and basically the job market just falls underneath your feet, right? What do you do in that situation? And that was sort of what launched my entrepreneurship journey, because at that time I decided the smart thing again into real estate, in like one of the worst real estate markets in the country, right? It was a challenge and I wanted to do it. And again, yeah, so I mean, the financial crisis was one of these moments that when I look back on it as an entrepreneur, I used to wonder, man, why did this stuff happen? Why did I go through all these challenges where I was underemployed, struggling to find work, trying all these different things to try to find my way? But I realized at that time, that actually not too long ago, that it was meant to happen, because it taught me these skills, these entrepreneurship skills that are necessary to survive and thrive in any economic environment. And that's what I try to do working at the Nault Center. That's what we all try to do. Really, I think every professor and academic at USF is to help students have those skills so you guys can do well when you graduate. All right, but the financial crisis, just to give you an idea of how severe it was, and again, this is just some data points. About 8.7 million jobs were lost at that time. Okay? About $19 trillion in net worth was wiped out. Okay. And I bring this up because as entrepreneurs, there's going to be circumstances outside your control. There's going to be things that are going to happen that you're not going to be able to do anything about. But it's in those situations of crisis that present tremendous opportunities for you. Okay. But the point is, there are inflection points that happen throughout history that can be a tremendous opportunity. And at that time in 2008, okay, I gotta bring this up because being a college grad trying to navigate my way through the job market at that time, but there are opportunities that present themselves during moments of crisis. Because in 2008, what came about? It was a social media revolution, right? You had LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and X now, okay? It was basically another industrial revolution that was born in the midst of this financial crisis. And that presented whole new industries, whole new jobs, whole new opportunities, okay, that entrepreneurs took advantage of, whole industries and whole jobs and careers, and so much wealth was created as a result of the social media revolution that was born right around the time during 2008. Now let's fast forward, all right, to 2020. I think we're trying to forget 2020. Okay, you had COVID. All right, we were shut down. Obviously, so the loss of life, all the chaos that occurred as a result. It was another inflection point, right? A lot of college graduates at that time, they were studying virtually. They graduated, but they couldn't even have a graduation ceremony. Everything was shut down. What do? Right? So again, there's going to be situations that are going to be outside your control, but they also can present enormous opportunities. Okay, what are we starting to see right now? What's the big thing right now today in terms of trends? I guess I want to keep this a little bit interactive. I don't want to lecture the whole time. What's the big thing right now? What's one of the trends that we're seeing?
AI. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, AI, ChatGPT, right? So with AI right now, we talk about an inflection point, okay? How many industries is that going to revolutionize? That are going to be impacted. Now, how many jobs are going to be created? Now, you think there'll be some jobs lost as a result of AI, right? Yeah, probably. But there are more jobs that could be created, all right? But the point is, during times of crisis, during times of uncertainty and volatility, that's when a lot of opportunities can present themselves. And as entrepreneurs, what I try to help with students and what we try to do at the Nault Center is to teach you to develop that mindset on how to exploit those opportunities, how to solve problems so that you can create value in the marketplace and make the world a better place, okay? Because entrepreneurship right now is more important than ever, all right? You all familiar with the Great Resignation? What do you think that was about? Anybody want to elaborate? Wrong answer. Jobs suck. Jobs suck, right? Yeah, jobs suck. Okay. A lot of corporate workers, you know, your employees just got fed up, right? And I think COVID only accelerated that. And this is the failure of corporate America, which that's a whole other presentation for another time, right? But the point is that, look, corporate America failed. They failed their employees. They didn't treat their employees well. And I think as a result of COVID crisis, right, it inspired people to try to take action. So it goes back to what I was saying. When you're going to be an entrepreneur, it's not because you want to per se. Something compels you to do it. You do it out of necessity. You have to do it because you want to make a difference. You want to provide for yourself. You want to create value. You know, you get fed up, and that's what happened with a lot of people. And I think now in the next 5-10 years, you're going to see a whole emergence of new businesses and technologies as a result of the Great Resignation and this new resurgence in entrepreneurship that we're seeing. Well, what are some of the other trends that we're seeing right now? Obviously, with supply chain. I'm sorry.
Ask AI was a good answer, and it leads your list of trends. The fact that XR, extensible reality, with Apple Vision just coming out, Meta and the big investment, which got egg on his face, but it's not stopping digital twinning, which we teach in our program. You didn't put it on the list. Is that because it's new products and services in your mind, or because it's been marginalized by the AI investment?
You can lump that in there. I mean, yeah, again, these are just some of the many trends, right? So I much a tip of the iceberg. But yeah, augmented reality, the metaverse, I mean, that's just a number of all these different trends that are exploding right now, that we're seeing in this new economy that we're in. You know, with supply chain, the insurance crisis, living in Florida, right? You know, health insurance, car, everything is going up. Is there an entrepreneur out there that can solve that problem? All right. The healthcare crisis, obesity, cancer, right now with biomedical to be able to detect these illnesses before they materialize in the body. And obviously sustainability and green energy. Okay, right now, how do we deal with climate change? What new technologies can we come out that can help mitigate and deal with this? Okay. And with sustainability and green energy, it's not just about climate change and dealing with that in green energy, okay? It's about managing finite resources. Because as entrepreneurs, you have to work with limited resources. How can you be efficient? How can you be better at managing these resources so you can create value for consumers? To make it more economical, more affordable, better for the environment, okay, more efficient. Efficiency is very important, and now that's doable now with all this technology, especially in AI. And of course, the metaverse, and then also just new products and services. There's a yearning for new ideas, new products and services that can make our lives easier, better, entertain us. Okay, there's all these demands out there right now. And again, with crisis comes opportunity to be able to take advantage of and to be able to solve problems and create value. So, but are there any other trends that you think you see that maybe I didn't mention? Anybody want to add to this list? Perhaps. I know we probably.
I'm pointing to one of my.
Given hints.
The construction.
Okay, yeah, construction, right? More sustainable building materials. Okay, there's a new need for housing. Okay, that's a big one, right? There's an inventory shortage with this. Again, my background also in real estate. So all these problems that need to be solved, all these opportunities that are there for you to be able to take advantage of and be able to use your skills and abilities so that you can contribute to this economy and again, make the world a better place. So how is it that we at the Nault Center and how you can use this model, I think, to pertain to your own personal career in terms of how you try to be able to launch business? Okay, what we do is that to grow this new generation of entrepreneurs, we have these sort of three buckets here that we kind of follow to help students with launching a business. All right, the first part is the ideation part of the business, right? It's this idea. What kind of business do you want to start? What's the idea that you have that you think can make an impact? And again, speaking with a lot of other entrepreneurs and people within this space that work in entrepreneurship centers and incubators and other universities, one of the big challenges that a lot of students have is this part, the ideation. What business do I even start? Where do I even begin? Okay. And how we help with that is first trying to figure out what inspires the student. But more specifically, what are some of your passions and skill sets? What do you like to do? What are you good at? Are you good at public speaking? Are you good at accounting? Are you good at finance? Are you good at creating flyers and marketing materials? You know, it's taking inventory of what it is that you like to do, what you're good at, what are your passions, and how can you use those passions and skill sets to solve problems. And also being able, and we're going to talk about mindset in a moment, you can lump that in here with ideation, is how is it that you can recognize opportunities when they come, right? Because that's the big thing, all right? You can have the idea, you can have all these pieces in place, but if you don't have that mindset to recognize opportunities, okay, building networks and relationships, which is a big one, again, you can lump that in here with ideation, right? It's that synergy. What I found working with a lot of students is that when they collaborate, okay, in this stage of ideation, they're trying to come up with an idea, that energy, things start to happen. So if you have an idea for something, definitely want to have the right people around you to bring this idea to life, okay? And in the ideation stage, you know, you're going to have a lot of bad ideas, but then it's about trial and error where you narrow down or eventually you pick something that might be able to work. Whether it's a physical product, an app, whatever that may be. So the second part of that equation and how we help students with entrepreneurship, developing their innovation, is seed money curriculum. Okay? Our curriculum, we have the undergraduate, minor, master's in entrepreneurship, and graduate certificates. So we have classes, okay, and I quote unquote classes to help students develop their innovations, right, from business plan development, venture finance, et cetera. But that's just 10% of it, all right? To be an entrepreneur, it's trial and error. It has to be hands-on. You got to get out there and actually do it. So a lot of what we do is hands-on stuff, getting out there and learning how to be an entrepreneur, whether it's sales, design, pitching in front of investors, interacting with these folks, working with entrepreneurs, give you mentors that can help guide you. Okay, getting out there and actually doing the work and building this business. All right, so it's not just a classroom exercise. You got to get out there and actually do it. That's important. Okay, so it's real life examples or real life exercises that can help you get where you need to be. And I'll show you some of the events and pitch competitions that we do that helps reinforce that. And then the seed money. Okay, obviously you need some money to be able to launch a business, right? To work and develop it. So through a lot of our competitions and programs, students have the opportunities to get seed money, to win cash rewards, to get Series A funding. And I'll discuss how we do that with some of our competitions. But the point is, we provide students the opportunities to get real-world experience working on their businesses, and also win cash rewards and seed money to help you develop that business, the idea that you have. And then finally, it's scale and launch, where the student has the idea, they've done their research, they've done their homework, they've tested it out, put it out there, they've developed enough of this prototype and this idea where they can actually launch. They can scale, and they can launch that first iteration of the business. And we do that, the best way we do that is through one of our competitions called Hustle. All right, this is a year-long incubator where basically, for this year, 12 finalists were chosen, 12 student entrepreneurs. And those students, out of those 12, pitched to David Chesser of the Chesser Board, who is a VC sponsoring that event. He's a venture capitalist, has invested in a number of companies under his belt. But out of those 12 teams, 3 were chosen to be a part of this year-long incubator program. Each one of those students is going to win $30,000 or $50,000 in seed money to develop their innovation. Where after 12 months, they have to reach milestones. Like, this is a real deal. Like, real money's on the line. So they have to reach milestones. They're going to have weekly and monthly meetings with David Chesser and the Chesser Board. So where eventually, after 10 months, they're going to pitch to David into a number of other VCs. And if whoever has the most commercially viable business can win up to $100,000 in Series A funding. All right? This is transformative, right? It's life-changing. So you have an idea for a business, within less than a year, you can go from ideation to launch. All right. I mean, that's a big deal, right? So within a year, you can do that. It's possible. All right. So if you have an idea for a business, for any of you here, okay, it's definitely doable. And then the big thing that we preach at the Nault Center is about empowering dreams. So do any of you here have any sort of dreams or aspirations? You guys have to have some. Come on, you're kind of quiet. To start a business, to travel somewhere, I don't know. What is it? Nobody here has any dreams or aspirations. Nobody.
Of course they do.
Of course you do. All right. No.
Look them out.
No wrong answers. We're all friends here, you know.
Okay, I'm going to get it started. Oh, go ahead.
Okay, all right, here we go. Okay.
I don't know, it's a dream or something else. I just want to open a shelter home for stray animals.
That's fantastic. Yeah. That's great.
I don't know if it's a business or not, but I just want to help stray animals.
That's fantastic. That's excellent. Very good. That's amazing. Yeah, nonprofit. You can do that. Yeah, excellent. Very good. Anybody else? I saw somebody else raising their hand. Yeah.
Yeah, I was just going to get it started. But my dream has always been passionate about assisting people, people who think they cannot own homes, their own homes, to assist them with the process of owning their own home. And I think that's more prevalent now or realistic now in the times where we have house shortages, building homes that are affordable for people to actually own their own home.
That's fantastic. Those are great aspirations. And and again, with entrepreneurship, it's not just about the money, right? It's being able to help other people at the end of the day. With sustainability, You know, it's about developing ideas that can make the world cleaner, better for everyone. Okay. How can we make the world a better place? How can we help other people? When you're an entrepreneur, when you have that mindset, okay, you can make your dreams a reality. You can make them possible. Once you understand how to adopt that mindset, which a lot of it is what it is, and that's what we kind of encourage as part of this process where we grow entrepreneurs. But to be more specific in terms of how we define that three-step process, helping students go from ideation to launch. Obviously, we have our undergraduate and graduate programs. We have a mentorship program. So if, for example, you want to start that nonprofit to help stray animals, you said, correct? Okay. We can help find somebody that's doing exactly what it is that you want to do. But with the real estate, okay, we can help someone find you who's doing what you want to do and is already successful in that, and we can match you up with them and they can be your mentor. And I can't tell you how important it is to have a mentor. I wouldn't have this role today if I didn't have a mentor. Having a mentor is extremely important. And what's great about us is that we have a network of entrepreneurs who are wildly successful. I mean, we got entrepreneurs who have sold their companies for $500 million, who want to give back, who want to be able to help other students have the same opportunities they had to be successful. Right? So having a mentor is extremely important. Pitch competitions. We have a number of pitch competitions that we have. And actually, can we pull up the flyer real quick? I'm sorry if we can go back. There we go. So we got a number of pitch competitions that you can participate in, okay, that help those students as part of that process from ideation to curriculum to seed money, okay. We got STEM Shift, which is an innovation summit that we're hosting at the end of February. That's co-sponsored. And I can send this to all of you, by the way. I don't know if that's possible. We can send it to everyone.
Yeah, definitely.
So we have the STEM Shift Innovation Summit that's co-sponsored by NASA. So a lot of the innovations that are going to be there, students are going to be working on their innovations that are based on sustainability, technology, and also NASA patents that NASA is trying to develop, or technologies these students are developing that can be incorporated into NASA, right? So if you have an idea, again, that's a 2-day event that's in February. We have TechStars, that's a startup weekend in Tampa Bay. That's TechStars, that's in March. That's a 3-day event. Again, it's just an immersive experience where you get to collaborate with other entrepreneurs and investors to help you develop your innovation. We have the Food Sustainability Challenge. That's going to be April 5th. We're collaborating with the School of Hospitality and Tourism, where you can, if you have an idea that can help deal with food sustainability, food deserts, how to make food greener and better, okay? This is right up your alley, okay? We have the Sorrow Real Estate Pitch Competition, where it's more investment finance based, where students are going to be pitching an investment analysis in front of judges on a commercial property in West Tampa and downtown. So the students that are going to be participating in this, their pitches can potentially reshape the makeup of the downtown Tampa area. Okay. And then we have the Florida Blue Pitch Competition, which is a healthcare themed competition. Okay. So I'm not going to get too much detail with these, but the point is that we have all these opportunities that if you have an idea for something in any of these fields, if you relate to sustainability, relate to healthcare, real estate, tech, whatever that may be, we have something for you to help you. Okay. And we can send this to you after the event. So,
Yes,
yeah.
definitely.
Okay. Awesome. So anyway, networking opportunities, again, we have this whole ecosystem of entrepreneurs and faculty and academics that can help transform the academic and professional career. But ultimately, we want to be your partner. Okay? These are entrepreneurs. We want to be able to be your partner and help you any way we can, again, to empower those dreams that you have. Whether you want to start your own business or work for somebody else, okay, we want to be your partner and help you. And that's what I love about this role, to help students. Like, that's something that I really, really enjoy. Most importantly, I think besides the ideation, this whole process of being an entrepreneur, it's all about mindset. At the end of the day, that's really what the most important thing that we hope students can get out of being part of that program and what we try to teach. And hopefully maybe what you can get out of this presentation that I'm giving is that it's about mindset. Okay, and I've met enough entrepreneurs being in this role and being in business that the most successful entrepreneurs, and frankly, the most successful people in any field, they think and act in certain ways, right? They think differently. It's not that they're any better than you and I, or that they're somehow superhuman. They just think differently. They operate, they see the world in a different way. And what I hope that after your education here at USF, that you're able to view the world a little bit differently. Maybe you're already starting to already now, right? But to view the world in a new way, and to open your horizons, that there's a possibility, a lot of possibility out there to be able to transform your academic and professional career, to help others create value, and make the world a better place, and also, and also be financially independent, right? And one of the questions I love asking a lot of entrepreneurs is, why is it that you want to be an entrepreneur? Why? That's what, when you look at the data, most small businesses fail in the first 3 to 5 years of operation. Why on earth would you want to start this career path that's riddled with challenges? What do you think the common answer is? Anybody here want to hazard a guess? I'm sorry?
Money.
It's part of it, sure. Yeah, money. Money can do a lot. What else?
Independence.
Yeah, freedom, right? Again, going back to the Great Resignation, okay? People are craving freedom. They want to have the freedom to chart their own course, to be able to live lives based on their terms. They want to help others, and they want to be independent. And of course, money, yeah, it does help you do that, right? It's obviously money gives you a lot of options, but also what helps you with that is developing that mindset, okay? Where when you think of possibility, you view the world in a new light, in that lens of possibility, then that's when things can start to happen. It's about taking action, all right, taking calculated risks. So to kind of cap off the presentation, I think just to talk about, what I think is really the cornerstone of entrepreneurship when we teach is creative thinking. To think creatively, to think differently, right, as I was talking about before, okay, to view the world in a new lens. How do you do that? At least when it pertains to entrepreneurship. So we'll kind of go over some of those techniques. So I think when it comes to, I'm a big advocate of mind mapping. Right? When it comes to developing an idea, what is that theme? Like, why is it that you want to start this particular business? You have an idea for something. Why is it that you want to pursue this idea? What's the theme? What are you trying to do? Going back to the nonprofit, right, to help stray animals. Okay, what's the why? What's the theme behind that? Okay, well, for real estate, for that matter, for helping people purchase homes, what is the theme behind that? What are you trying to do? I'm a big advocate of writing things down. I know some of you are already. That's a great habit, because writing it down makes this tangible. It's the first part of the process where you make this idea tangible for you. Okay. So I think when it comes to creative thinking, I think there's several techniques or several hats when it comes to trying to develop this business or idea. It's getting information, right? Just the facts. I've learned that making assumptions, that's the last thing that you want to do. You don't want to assume anything. You want to get the facts, get information. And there's no excuse today that you don't have the ability to do that. Now we're obviously cell phones, laptops with ChatGPT. Well, I won't say ChatGPT, I don't know how reliable that is, but when it comes to getting factual information, you want to do the research. Do the research on what it is that you're trying to do, whatever that may be. Find the facts, get the information. Find someone who's doing what you're trying to do. Okay? So explore the positives and the probable value and benefits. Okay, what are the benefits of your idea to society, to your organization, or to yourself? Okay, what are some of those benefits? All right. Risks and difficulties and problems. This is a big one. Okay, sometimes we have a tendency to look at life rose-colored lens, but we totally forget about what problems can arise. You recall 2008, right? What problems showed up there? Lots of them. Okay? Things are going to happen that are outside your control. Maybe if you're starting a business, you have a cash flow problem. Maybe you can lose a vendor or a supplier who's giving you, developing your products, okay, supplying your products for your business. Okay, what can go wrong? This is an extremely boring exercise, but try. I'm not saying you should do this on a Friday night or something. But try to look at case studies, right? Look at case studies of businesses that have failed. What did they do wrong? What happened? Why did they screw up? What happened? Because you want to learn from them so you don't make the same mistakes. Okay, so try to think about what could go wrong. Express your likes, dislikes, okay? Share your intuition. Be honest with yourself about whether or not you like your idea. Okay? Be honest about what it is that you want to do. And follow your intuition. Intuition is not something that's really taught much, and but try to follow your gut. Really listen to yourself. Okay? What do you really want to accomplish here? What are you trying to do? Be honest with yourself about that. And I think when you're honest with yourself, you cut through that fog to help you develop your idea. And express new concepts and new perspectives, okay? Again, look for other innovations. You know, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You can take something that exists and make it better. You can develop partnerships that can yield to new opportunities, all right? So it's looking for those opportunities. You don't have to reinvent the wheel, right? Which I think makes entrepreneurship very exciting. There's a lot of ways, there's more than one way to do something, right? When it comes to starting a business. Can you be an entrepreneur and work for a company? What do you think? Why do you think that is? Guys are quiet, man. I know it's kind of like after 4, I know it's a long day, right? So to be an entrepreneur at a company, right? If you can get really good at solving your boss's problem, okay, it can lead to more promotion, more opportunities, more advancement, gain equity in the company, etc. Right? So you can be an entrepreneur and work for a company or an institution. And when it goes back to mindset, it's when you look for opportunities, look for ways you can solve problems. All right. And then finally organize your findings, right? Organize everything. Keep it simple. Write it down. Organize everything and see what you found in your research has yielded. Is this an idea worth pursuing? Okay. And there's several questions, I think, when it comes to this process of creativity and ideation and entrepreneurship. The questions you want to ask: the what? What is it you're trying to develop? What do you want to do? The where? Where are you going to have this business? Is it going to be here in Tampa? Are you going to have a factory in China where you can develop your product? Okay. Where is it that you're going to have this business and where is it going to run? The when? What's your time frame? And with this question, and speaking with a lot of investors, they love companies that can scale within 9 to 12 months. This is a product that can be launched within a short amount of time and generate revenue. Obviously, some businesses are more different than others. Some take longer to scale, but when? What is your horizon for when you want to start this business? Who? That's very important. Who is it that you want to work with? You guys, I assume, work in teams, a lot of you, for school and for your projects and stuff like that, right? So you already have some experience working with teams. Working with the right team is really important, okay? When building a business and working on an idea that can make an impact. Having the right people around you is essential, because if you have the wrong people, it's just going to make your job that much harder. And I've seen where when you have the right team, and I've experienced this, and I'm fortunate enough at the Nault Center to work with some great team members, okay? Things just start to happen, and it's a lot of fun. So having the right team around you, the who, is important. And again, that goes back to networking, building relationships, all right, that can last a lifetime and that can be of immense value to you, and where you can be of value to the people you're working with. The how are you going to do it? How are you going to launch this business? How are you going to launch this idea? How are you going to be of value to your employer? How are you going to do this? You don't have to have all the answers, but you want to at least have an idea. It goes back to doing research. Okay. And the question that's not, I think I mentioned this offhand before, it's not on here, it's the why. Why do you want to do this? Why on earth do you want to start this business? Okay. Why? You better give yourself a compelling enough reason, all right, that's going to inspire you, because it's inevitable in any business that you try to start. There will be challenges, there will be setbacks. There are things that are going to happen that, as I said before, and we saw this in the Financial crisis during COVID, they're outside your control. There will be things that can go wrong. Why do you want to do this? Give yourself compelling enough reasons. And if you do that, that's going to inspire you to keep going to where you'll be successful. And I think if you do enough of this and you, with this creative thinking, incorporate some of what we discussed, then you could potentially not just develop a minimum viable product, you can develop an idea that can be transformative, that can possibly work. Whether you want to do business, whether in your organization, whether in school, whatever that may be. All right. And to kind of put this all together, to organize this potential idea or business, we have a business model canvas. Have any of you used this before? Are you familiar with this? Okay, so the business model canvas, rather than writing this huge long business plan, you can compartmentalize all these important attributes of your business into this one page or this business model canvas. Like for your key partners, what organizations or entities you're going to be partnering with, what are some of the key activities you're going to be doing to get this business off the ground, what are your revenue streams, what's the cost structure. It helps you lay out your entire business and how it's going to operate into this one page. And I can send you a blank, we can also a business model canvas as well, okay? So it is, I would print out a whole bunch of these and just kind of fill these out and play around with it, right? In your research to see if you have an idea for something, how can it work? Make this process fun, okay? So if you want to learn more about the Nault Center, what I do, what we do at the Nault Center, if you want any information on our events, you can visit www.usf.edu/entrepreneurship. You also follow me on LinkedIn. If you want to scan the QR code, you follow me on LinkedIn as well. And I can certainly answer any questions that you have. So that's pretty much hopefully, I hope you enjoy my presentation and I can certainly answer any questions that you have. Yes.
I do. There has been a debate that we have from time to time in our school about the best approach to getting our students' capabilities graduated. And one approach would be giving them maximum freedom, emphasizing creativity, emphasizing collaborative work. Another would be to give them very defined goals and have them develop a discipline for following orders very specifically so that when they get into the workforce, they are not reaching too high, not possibly alienating employers. There's another approach that I think you alluded to where you come into a business and they're looking for you to think and expand the box. Which would you suggest that graduate students favor if they're leaning and then push us as faculty to favor?
So I guess it's a balance between autonomy and more structure, I think, right? Is that,
yeah.
I see. That's a great question because I think to answer that, it's every student's a little bit different. There's some students, and I think there's entrepreneurs and there's employees that like to have autonomy. They want to have the freedom, more autonomy to be able to work on their business, to work on their position, to create value that way. And there are other students and there's other people that they're more structured. They need to have someone there to kind of give them that structure. So I think it depends on the personality of the student, which could be, and it's hard because every student's a little bit different. There's some students that, or entrepreneurs or people that work in a corporate environment, if you let them do their thing, they'll be amazing. And then other people, you have to give them some structure. I think it's based on the personality in the student. But that's why I love doing this stuff, is being able to be in front of students and kind of get in front of them and see like what your personality is like, what works best for you.
See, that's where it gets thorny because if we're training students on the expectation that they'll have a transformative experience in school, and some come in already entrepreneurial, dealing with self-motivation, they can set realistic goals, do time management themselves, they don't need to be babysat, so to speak. Isn't there a bias in the industry, which you're also bringing out, that entrepreneurship trumps the ability to follow orders, which suggests that if you have students who want the structure, who crave the nanny kind of environment so they can feel more comfortable, that we should be helping nurture them toward entrepreneurship? Isn't there an implicit bias that if you're going to be a leader in this business, if you're going to move up, you're going to have to develop the autonomy at some point? And the question is, at this stage in their career, should we be helping to nurture that, or should we be catering to they still want to be told what to do, and it may take them 3 or 4 years in industry to find their center and then be able to rise through the ranks?
Yeah, I think that to build that autonomy, and maybe that's a paradox, you do need that structure, right? And I think what we do in helping entrepreneurs and developing them is that, yeah, there's autonomy, but there's certain things that you have to do the right way. Like when you're doing a pitch deck, there's a formula involved with that. And I've seen enough, I've worked with hundreds of pitch decks, and I'm working with investors. There's certain things that you have to do when you communicate with an investor, for example. When you network or when you design a business, there's certain things that you have to do to get to where you want to have that autonomy.
So can I suggest then, in your emerging trends,
Yes.
is that not what AI is giving us? When somebody says, I need to do a pitch that conforms to this pitch deck, I have a lot of ideas on the ideation stage. I meet with my team, let's throw it into form using a template or using AI to help us create the template, that we don't have to anymore be trained, I don't want to use the word slavishly, but that's what we've often been doing, practice, practice, practice in form, when now the form is being articulated by the AI working with us. So is there really a role for us? Like we were just in class, they're doing poster sessions and publications, and we're using a software called Overleaf, which you're probably familiar with. It has an HTML cascading style sheet kind of code on one side, and then it compiles a perfect PDF or poster on the other. You fill in the form, and then you can pick, well, I want to use it using APA form, and I want to use the way the Journal of Psychology did it. And then the AI takes care of form,
Right.
and you work on content.
Yeah. Yeah, it's, and that's one of the challenges, I think, and benefits and challenges of AI, that it can do a lot of this stuff for you. But I think it's still important to understand how to construct design thinking, the business plan development, and understanding, I think also, and it boils down to, when it comes to structure, how to communicate effectively. At the end of the day, when it all comes down to it, it is about communication. The end game is when that student gets in, or that entrepreneur gets in front of an investor, or you're in front of an employer, it's being able to communicate effectively and taking what you've done, whether you're using it through ChatGPT to help you, whatever that may be, and communicate on what it is that you're trying to do and influence that person to invest in your company, to hire you, et cetera. And also, I think, we don't discourage, using AI, but we still try, at least what we do, but we certainly try to teach those raw skills that I think structure that can lead to autonomy. But those are some great questions. Yeah, I think those are the pros and cons of AI. That's what we just have to learn to live with. But I hope that answers that. I hope answers your question. I thought saw a hand raised, or maybe not? Okay. Anybody else have any other questions? I guess we're to go. Anybody have any questions on it? Okay, the flyer will be sent. Okay. Fantastic. So, if you want to follow me on LinkedIn, you can. And if you have any other questions, let me know. But thank you for giving me the time to
Try to encourage my students to.
Oh, okay. Well, if you have any, we have.
They can't just sit silent. Sometimes they need to be.
I don't know. I just paid my attention the word, the expression that you used there, vision builder. So that.
Yes.
Right. Since the starting of the year, it's very common for people to start with the vision board. I don't know if you have any strategy for this vision builder. Just for example, now you ask for the question, what is your dream? What is your aspiration? Might be some of we don't have clear in mind what is this. Oh, so I don't know if you have any strategy, any technique, something practical that we can.
For like visualization?
Yes, but that's fine.
Okay. No, that's a great question. So I'm a visual thinking person. I think it's important, everyone thinks a little bit differently, to kind of visualize and see what it is that you like to accomplish, whether it's an entrepreneurship or whatever aspect, of your life. When it comes to vision building, I think writing it down, being specific. I mean, I think you mentioned vision board. I mean, if you could use that as a tool, right, to kind of cut out different images of what it is that you would like to accomplish. And all that really does, I'm glad you brought that up. I'm working on a book called Pay Attention, How to Reclaim Your Focus in a Distracted World. And why that's important, I think what you mentioned with the vision is that we live in a world, let's face it, that's extremely distracting, right? And it's very hard to pay attention and stay focused because we're always checking into our, this, right, every 3 seconds or whatever, where it's like a neural addiction. So I think what visualization does, and maybe having a vision board, is that it can help us with our focus. And this is another thing too, a lot of entrepreneurs I communicate with and work with, they're very, very focused. They know what they want to accomplish, and they know what they want. They're very, very focused. So I think that's a great point that you made. I think, you can use whatever, whether it's writing it down, maybe a vision board, or something just to help you reshift your focus and get you to where you want to be and kind of line yourself up to that. Does that make sense? I think, right? So I think boils down what you're saying, I think, is focus, right? And if a vision board helps you with that, writing it down, I think that can work.
What makes a bad entrepreneur?
Well, that's a great question. Wow, great question. I think a bad entrepreneur is somebody, and I think you alluded to this, that doesn't want to listen, right? If there's one thing an investor does not like, or working, collaborating with somebody else, is an entrepreneur that thinks they know everything, right? They have too much autonomy. Forget, I don't need to know that. I know this. Those are the entrepreneurs that fail, right? Those are the ones that don't do well. They don't listen. They're not willing to take advice from people who know what they're talking about. And this is something that in my interaction with entrepreneurs and students, is that the ones that do really well are willing to listen. They're willing to pivot and adapt. And they're willing to pay attention. They're willing to, and again, that design structure that leads to autonomy, you do need to follow some rules, right? You need to listen to people who know what they're doing, right? And if you're not going to listen, you're going to be stubborn about it. That's a bad entrepreneur, someone who's not willing to listen, who doesn't, thinks they know it all. That's a recipe for disaster. I've seen it. So, yeah. Anybody else?
I would like to riff on that. How do you advise we teach people to listen, be respectful, not stubborn? If we use McGregor's theory, for example, if we use theory X and we assume that autonomy leads to a kind of stubborn independence that defies group work, is it punishing lack of listening, or is it creating environments where collaboration feels good and enhances those theory Y characteristics of self-actualization, so listening becomes a natural feature? Can you mandate listening? Can you mandate respect, as we've tried for so many years, or do you shift the learning environment so that natural tendencies come out? I guess it depends on what you see human beings as.
Yeah, I think the collaborative part is very important, right? When you collaborate, mentorship is really important. You can lump collaboration into that, right? It kind of will and sometimes people have to learn the hard way, right? Through the trial and error, collaboration, through doing this. And if this individual, the entrepreneur, sees that what they're doing is not working, out of necessity, they may have to change. And it's hard to quantify that and teach that, but I think it boils down to communication, mentorship, and collaboration that I think out of necessity, the student has to change. It doesn't always work, but at the end of the day, we provide the resources and tools for students. At the end, it's up to the student to decide how to use them. That's why sometimes, unfortunately, it doesn't work for everybody, but it's presenting those opportunities, but also I think through that collaboration, out of necessity, the student could change. Hopefully I hope that answers. I know that is a really good question. It's tough.
It is, and I wrote in big letters in my notes, freedom, when you talked about freedom, and this balance of, do our students need to learn freedom, or is freedom the condition that lets them find the structures that work for them and their personality And that's the dance we do in school.
Yeah.
We seem to control the levers of how much freedom to mete out and how much to restrict. I sometimes wonder if that is stopping those who come in already understanding how to use freedom to their advantage and sharing that collaboratively with others. That entrepreneurship, if you have students who come into your program, they got a great idea, they're going to maintain focus, they're not going to get distracted. Transmitting that is not something you can mandate. Maybe it's something that we can create classroom environments that let others comfortable instead of thinking. And I'm reflecting, I was saying to my students, I just got back from 4 days up at Harvard with some very arrogant people who were very, very wealthy that I graduated 40 years ago, who just said to me flat out, there are smart people and stupid people. And you teachers can't do anything about that, and just let the stupid people, God bless them, give them up, or don't make them take the kind of classes that will frustrate them. Let the smart people rise to the top. And I thought, that's horrid.
That's a hard.
That's abhorrent.
Yeah, that is, yeah. I mean, every student has the ability to do great things. It's the environment, right? It's giving students a chance. And the reason I think why, and again, that's a really awful sentence. I can't believe that. It's showing students, and and I meet with a lot of high school students, and I try to get early on to show them about possibility, right? This is what's possible. These are the resources. This is what we can offer you at USF, and wherever you decide to go, these are the possibilities that are out there for you. And I think when you show students that, then that's when maybe that can light something, and yeah, I mean, that's awful things. I can't believe it. Anyway, yeah, wow, but yeah, it's a possibility. I think if you show students that, then they'll be inspired. So, anybody or
Yeah, I was just going to say, when we talked earlier about entrepreneurship, what makes a good entrepreneur, I was thinking about confidence. But the more we talked about it, confidence can also kind of work against you, I guess, if you think, like, if you don't listen. So when you think, what is that? How does that fit into being an entrepreneur, having certain confidence in your abilities to achieve your goals?
Oh, I think there's confidence, but then there's also arrogance. Arrogance where, like, I know, I don't need to listen to you.
Okay,
Like,
gotcha.
yeah, I mean, you want to be confident. And I think a lot of the entrepreneurs that are very wildly successful, or, in any field, right? They believe in themselves, right? They know, what, I got this. And I use golf as besides a baseball instructor, I like to play golf. I try to anyway. But if you watch like the professional golfers, did any of you watch golf? I don't know if you're into that or not. But anyway, this is just an example. Like professional golfers, they hit just as many bad shots as anybody else. I'm sure. But the difference with golfers, the professionals, is that they know they can recover and hit a good shot and then make the par 3 or whatever, right? They have the belief in themselves that they can do it. So, you're going to make mistakes, you're going to fail from time to time, but if you believe in yourself and you encourage those beliefs, then that's confidence, that's what makes you successful. But if you're arrogant and you're not going to listen, right, then you're not going to, that makes a bad entrepreneur, I think. Yeah. So, yes.
Hey, I was trying to raise my hand in the, a virtual thing, and I'm probably raising my hand to somebody on the street or something. Great presentation, by the way. Can you go into some of the aspects dealing with the business plan? I mean, what the students really need to do and figure out how to develop a really substantial business plan. Because I found that was one of the things for us that in our first business, we spent a lot of time developing it out, and it really paid off. In our second, we kind of piecemealed it together because it was a novel product, it wasn't really out there. And then the next thing also, what about seeking out, perhaps, you talked about like Harvard Business Reviews, looking at what stuff went wrong and things like that. What about going and trying to find mentors or adjacent companies and figuring out, talking with those people, going in and finding out who's been successful, who hasn't? I mean, it's a 90% failure rate. Anything you can do to increase those odds, especially for people that are in their second or third business. They've already failed once, went bankrupt, started back into this equation, and now they've learned so much more, and now they've become successful. How they can go in and actually talk with people that have been successful, find out different methodologies and different approaches.
No, that's a great question.
I have 3 minutes.
Okay. So very quickly, Otto, can you go to, I'm sorry, okay, so to answer for the business plan, right? For the business plan, you can take that business model canvas and of course, and just expand on that, obviously, in much more detail. But part of the business plans you were saying, doing the research, going to mentors, other entrepreneurs, visiting other companies, what are they doing right in the field that you're trying to enter and the business that you're trying to start? And that will help you immensely in starting that business plan. But honestly, the biggest place to start, 3 minutes, is what problem are you trying to solve? Because again, a lot of mistakes that I see student entrepreneurs make is develop a product or business, and a lot of professional entrepreneurs do this. They start a business without even bothering to think about, does a customer want this? What's the value does it provide? So you want to start off with the problem, right? What is the problem that your innovation is trying to solve? And then once you identify the problem, then you can go into the solution, into these other aspects, that your innovation is the best way to solve this particular problem, ease this pain point, and make things more efficient, et cetera. And very briefly, I know maybe 2 minutes now. So one of our students last year for the Florida Blue Pitch competition, to show you what's possible, she's in engineering, never launched a business before, never even did a pitch competition. She developed a tracking device for medical equipment to track equipment for medical equipment companies, right? I coached her, kind of showed her this, showed her how to develop a pitch deck, customer discovery, et cetera, okay? And what I told her was, how can your product help medical equipment companies save money and make money? If you can show investors that you can help medical equipment companies save money or make money, you can do very well. She won first place, $20,000. A freshman, never pitched before, okay? Just to show you what's possible. You have an idea, again, with a business plan, expand on this, okay? Do the research, then you can make it happen. So does that?
Yeah, the other point too is the financials. After sitting on dozens and dozens of groups that have come in for scaling, trying to get the things, first thing we're going to look at is your financials. You can't show me how you're cash flowing, I'm sorry, you're not getting money. I mean, if you can't show me the numbers, because that's a lot of these guys are just, they're bean counters. They want to know so yeah, if you can touch on any of that, how to package that together in the best ways.
Yeah, I think when it comes to tools, I could say to make that easier, well, you want to think about ultimately, it's free cash flow, right? How much revenue can your business generate when you subtract costs and everything? How much revenue can your business generate? How much cash flow? Okay. And again, you want to think about that because a lot of the questions these investors are going to ask you, how much revenue can you generate? How much is this product going to cost? Is this a mass market product? And that lends to the financials, right? Because you have to figure out how much it's going to, I was working with a student on this today for a cigar company he's trying to start. How much is this going to cost you? All right. Do you have current vendors and customers that you already have that are willing to buy your product? How many units can you sell potentially? And these are assumptions that you're going to make initially in the financials. But you want to show the potentiality of your company, that it can generate lots of revenue. And again, a lot of the questions these investors asked, it's on revenue, cash flow, sales. It's mostly, a lot of it's about that. Questions they're going to ask, especially when it comes to the financials. So I know in the condensed time frame, hopefully that is your question. So.
Okay, well, thank you very much.
Oh, word.
Frank's then calling us out for the answer was in the middle of the class.
Where's the one?
Done.
Yes, I won
Really just expressed her appreciation to me, but it was really good for you.
Thank you guys for this saving this event. I mean, it's very valuable knowledge to have.
I'm gonna
It goes along so well with what we started the class talking about.
You're gonna be graduating.
Oh, yeah, Chris. Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, I'm going to speak in this class.